Well, I think it's fair to say you think that this story doesn't start and finish with one person in the Christie administration and a couple other political appointees. You think this goes much farther? You even think that we're talking cover-up, right?
Let me tell you this, Rich. Anybody that believes it started with her, I want to sell you some swampland in Florida. That's for sure. I mean, and the other thing is very importantly, is that obviously she was tied into campaign people. So she did this in concert with the campaign people. So it's not unfair to say, did the campaign people decide to do this? Or did it originate in the government itself? But clearly there was a synergy between Christie's campaign people and Christie's governmental people here in the State House. Now, that's a bad mix and a toxic mix, clearly, but didn't originate from a deputy chief of staff. And then we've got to find out who is on these emails whose names have been redacted by Mr. Wildstein. He did that for a reason. He was covering up different people who were involved in this. So we've got to get those emails clean of any redaction, so we know everybody who's talking to who and what were they saying.
From a practical level, there's no way, right, that one person in administration can pick up the phone and call the Port Authority and they shut down for 4 days lanes on the busiest bridge in the world. It doesn't work that way, right?
Well, not unless she has more power than the governor, and she certainly doesn't. So it didn't originate from her, but as I said before, you've got to find out where it started, who was the genesis for it, and did it come from within inside his governmental office or within inside his campaign office. But clearly they were both on the same message and the same mentality in terms of, let's do this, it's going to be fun, we're going to go after our quote-unquote political enemies and people who are going to vote for, not for Christie, but for Barbara Bono. And it says that right in the email. So let's go, let's roll, let's get to the bottom of this. I mean, come on, this is a gentleman who dictates everything that goes on in the governor's office. So for him not even to have a conversation with the people who carried this out is mind-boggling.
You know, I'm curious. You mentioned you were a governor. You've served under more than just this governor while you've been in the legislature. Could this have ever happened, coming back to the culture issue, under Corzine or a Whitman or a Tom Kean Sr., for example? Could this kind of a culture...
No, absolutely positively not. I've never seen someone in the governor's office who seeks retribution all the time, is very vindictive, who, when you watch town meetings, if someone doesn't agree with him, he talks down to him, calls him an idiot, you're dumb, so forth and so on. Trenton's never seen, I've been here 40 years, Trenton's never seen any personality like this before, and that's unfortunate. Having sat in that governor's office as a governor, it's sorry to see that. When I was governor, one of the first things I said to my staff, we will not criticize any former governor. It's beneath us. And yet I've been at events where he's criticized former governors right to their face before hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, he just doesn't seem to let his foot off the pedal. He's always got to be going after someone. And that's wrong. He's got a lot of talent and a lot of good to do for the state of New Jersey, but this aspect of his personality has to change. But, you know, when you've lived this long, it's kind of hard to change the leopard and get those spots off.
You're no stranger to this person. He's gone after you. He's taken away security detail. You've had your own run-ins with this governor, haven't you?
Oh, he's done a lot more than that. He clearly wants to send a message if you don't agree with him. And I probably agreed with him about 90% of the time. But when you don't, he wants to let you know that he's boss. And if you talk to Republican legislators privately, they would all voice a concern about his personality and those traits as well. But they're afraid. They're afraid of retribution. And that's sad. It really is. Lawmakers, regardless of what party they belong to, should be able to vote their conscience and not worry about retribution from a governor on a particular issue they feel strongly about.
This story's been out there for a while, Senator. I've heard some folks say Hey, Democratic Party bosses, they tried to quash this thing and questions surrounding the GWB closure. Should some of the tough questions be to when this was raised the first time, why this thing didn't move faster than until the Record finally put it on the paper?
Inside baseball, everybody knows that certain Democrats, especially those who are not members of the legislature, were involved in a campaign to make sure this investigation went nowhere. But I can't prove it. You can't prove it. But we know, anecdotally, that it happened.
You know, finally, I've seen and you've seen politicians go down for sex scandals. Some are crooks. I've never seen a scandal where people intentionally set out to screw their own constituents. I was thinking about this. I can't think of anything remotely comparable to this where you're actually going after your own constituents here to make a political point.
Yeah, usually when politicians go down, Rich, it's sex, money. In this case, it would be arrogance. So I don't think any of us has seen anything like this before. It's not the conventional way you screw up, shall we say. But screw up, somebody did, and hopefully find out more answers in the next couple of days or the weeks to come.
I appreciate it, Senator. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, sir.
And the hits keep on coming for the governor. Tomorrow, just coincidentally, is the state of the state. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have it on file. What the governor will be addressing a very interested state legislature and obviously New Jersey constituency. We'll have that for you. But when we come back after the break, we're going to be talking about the impact on this, political and otherwise. And if you think for a second that Christie's nearly 2-hour, I think, maestro performance in doing the Q&A that answered this, you better think again. This thing is just getting going. Can he survive it? And what about his political prospects in 2016? We're going to be talking about all that after this.